I'm Scott Weatherly. Welcome to 20th Century Geek. Okay, and we're back. And I'm joined by Mike Kennedy, yet again. And Mike, it's that time of year. It's time to deck the halls, blow shit up.
Yeah, well, I think it's the festive thing to do.
The festive thing to
That's
do.
the thing. Yeah, that's what you do. You do it. That's what you do in the festive season. You blow shit up.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Santa
anyway.
and his sleigh.
Santa sleighs.
So, as you can probably tell, we're not going to be going down the typical festive movie route. We're not going to be covering off The Grinch or Elf or Muppets Christmas Carol or any of those festive greats. We've decided to do a Black Christmas.
Indeed.
So it's the Shane Black Christmas. We mentioned it last month. We're going to cover 4 Shane Black films that he basically wrote and are all set at Christmas. So we're going to cover, in order, Lethal Weapon, Last Boy Scout, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. But tonight we're going to focus in on Lethal Weapon from 1987 and Last Boy Scout from 1991. So we'll do these in date order. So let's start with Lethal Weapon.
Okay, cool.
Mike, give me your thoughts. Michael, Lethal Weapon.
Well, I remember going to cinema to see this.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Screw you.
Yeah, let's not even comment that I was too young to see this.
Yeah, I know. No, I went to cinema to see this. Do you know I hadn't seen it in years and years and years, and I guess I've forgotten how good the film was. I've forgotten how much I enjoyed the film and the whole relationship between good cop, bad cop,
Nutty cop, good
nutty
cop.
cop. Yeah, well, but it's kind of like it's right at the end of the film. The payoff at the end of the film when he says, I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
whereas he's just very committed at his job.
Well, I think.
I mean, I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but I mean,
you're right.
It's a great film.
The heart of this film is the cast. Regardless of of Mel Gibson's position in Hollywood today, in 1987, he was a hot property.
But then again, Mel Gibson's position in Hollywood today, it was Passion of Christ. That's why he's been ridiculed by Hollywood somewhat.
I think also being pulled over drunk and calling the cop sugar tits probably contributed, and then basically going on an anti-Jew rant on the internet was probably not going to help.
But you got people like Robbie Downey Jr. breaking into people's houses and waking up in their beds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
there's a way back. I think there's a way back.
I think there's always a way back. I mean, he's just Mel Gibson's making another film, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he's doing a couple of and he keeps getting.
It's bad press. I like Mel Gibson. I
like Mel Gibson. I put Mel Gibson in the same bucket as like Tom Cruise, in that thing of like personal life. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because on the screen, they're really good.
Totally, but not only as an actor, but also as a director and writer as well. Mel Gibson.
Yeah, I'll give him his due. Seriously.
He's been Passion of Christ is probably. I saw that for the first time recently.
Oh, really?
And it's just wow.
It's brutal.
Brutal and honest and powerful film. I get off the subject slightly, but Mel Gibson to me is watching Lethal Weapon the other day kind of cemented to me how good an actor Mel Gibson actually is.
I agree, 100%.
And completely underrated. And of course, and like Morecambe and Wise, with any good comedian, you need a good straight man. Even though I got to say, for the record, Ernie Wise was never a straight man. They were both comics.
Yeah.
Both comedians. But you know what I mean. In a good double act, that's what you normally get.
I'm wondering how many of the audience listening to this even know Morecambe and Wise.
Everyone knows Morecambe and Wise, you bastard. Everyone knows
it. If they don't know them, they should know them.
No, they should know them, absolutely. Really, Morecambe and Wise legends. But and Danny Glover is a good front man for Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And I don't think the film would have worked if you just focused on the Riggs character.
No.
Riggs,
This is the quintessential buddy cop film. I think before that you'd had 48 Hours, which I think is like 1981.
Yeah, it was
Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte, yeah.
And that's sort of like, that's not really buddy cop. One's a crook, one's
probably influenced this a little bit.
It did totally. But this is where they got the formula spot on. I mean, without Lethal Weapon, I mean, this has got films got a lot to answer for. Some good, some bad. You get the rest of the Lethal Weapon films. Then you get films like Rush Hour.
Did you not like Rush Hour?
They're all right.
Yeah, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker I find a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan I can watch all day and all night. I love Jackie Chan.
You know, I mean,
any 60+ man that can actually, you know, do the shit that he does now, it's just that, wow.
Any buddy cop film post late 80s is so influenced by this.
So influenced by this, or
by Lethal Weapon, I think this film. I mean, this is where they got the formula spot on. You know.
I'd say 48 Hours was a great film.
Oh, it is. Don't get me wrong, but that's a crook and a cop. This is the buddy cop. It's a slight difference.
Yeah, I get that. I like Amos and Andrew. Do you remember that one?
No.
Amos and Andrew was Nicolas Cage and Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that was. I think they were.
Well, Sam Jackson comes up. I mean, I would even suggest that Die Hard 3. If you're going to cover that wide thing, Die Hard with a Vengeance with Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, they're not cops, but you get that buddy element is definitely part of it. But you're right. So that's the cap. What else about the film? You hadn't seen it in years. So how did you feel when you were watching it?
I just quite excited about it all, you know, and I kind of remembered. What I didn't take into appreciation when I went to see it in the cinema, I thought it was a good action film when I went to see it in the cinema. But when I watched it back, now I'm a little bit older, you know, just a tad, small, older, a couple of years older. When I watched it back, I realised what a good story it is as well. Is that it's not just an action film. There's an underlying story. The characters have got, you know, a background. Each character's got a background, and you know, when you really get involved with the characters in the film, and I think that's what makes it different from most of these buddy cop or action films of the time.
Yeah.
Is that there was a lot of thought that went into that film. A lot of thought went into the characters. You know, you automatically think that, you know, that. I mean, you think about it, the basis of the film is based around Mel Gibson being a lethal weapon.
Well, yeah, the tagline is that he's.
We need to class you as a lethal weapon.
Yeah, he's the only cop that's classed as a lethal weapon. And that's where the marketing went, you know, I think. But the story itself, I mean, it's a very 80s story. It's a drug-based story. It's very, it's all about heroin being imported. It's a very 80s story, which I can't, you know, there's no fault in that. It was made in 1987.
Yeah, the heroin you take today is nothing like it wasn't.
Exactly, yeah. The thing I found more interesting was the fact that this film is still a hangover from the Vietnam War.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the whole, you know, not the story, but all the characters
have been in Nam.
Have all been in Nam.
Yeah.
So, you know, Danny Glover and Tom Atkins, the guy. Yeah. Oh, he's an old Nam buddy, and then you find out that he was part of this, this drugs trafficking thing from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you sort of find out that Martin Riggs was 19 years old, but a sharpshooter in Vietnam and all this other stuff. So it shows how sort of even 10, 15 years after the war had ended, I mean, well, more than that, but that it was still really prevalent in American culture.
Yeah,
totally. You know, I think so. It just interested me that was where that film went. That, like, you know, it was so prevalent. It was so much a part of it. That I don't think we have anything really like that in this country. The other thing I might say is, like you say about Mel Gibson being a good actor, and I agree, because there was something that stood out for me that watching it this time with a bit more of a critical eye. I mean, Mel Gibson's not crazy. He's broken emotionally. You know, his wife's obviously was killed in wife and unborn child, I think, was killed.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the child.
Yeah,
you're probably right, but
he's lost. He's grieving, and he keeps almost killing himself.
It's Mad Max, isn't it? It's Mad Max in modern day.
Yeah, totally. Well,
there is. Yeah,
but there's a moment in it that I hadn't really noticed before, and it's when he's invited over for dinner to, Danny Glover, Roger Murtaugh's house, the Murtaugh family home.
Yeah.
And he comes in, and he basically sees his family, and they're all sort of like, you know, bantering, and they're having their own in jokes, and it's a family unit. And there's a look on Mel Gibson's face of almost like relief, of like joy, of like, oh, I'm
part of something.
I'm not alone. And it's really interesting that sort of like, I've never noticed it before, but this time I was like, yeah, he sees there's more to Martin Riggs than just an action star, which I found really interesting.
What interests me is how he's got that sort of like beach thing going on,
Yeah.
and he's got electricity. It's like,
Yeah.
how'd you get that?
I know.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And crystal perfect television. You know,
Yeah, really
it's
good reception
Yeah, really
for
good
a,
reception. Like, what? For non-digital age.
Yeah.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
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 But,
No,
but Mel Gibson, wow. If I was a gay man back then,
he was a good-looking man in them days.
can I just clarify? If I was a gay man back then, I'm not a gay man now, but I mean, if I was a gay man ever,
Yeah.
then wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a body. Mel
Well,
Gibson.
it's no surprise he was the heartthrob.
Yeah.
He was. He was a real heartthrob
Yeah.
in the day, and in the 80s, the guy was a Hollywood star.
Oh, he was huge.
Yeah.
He was huge. I mean, I don't mean that he's not huge now, because I mean Mel Gibson sells tickets. At the end
I think he still could. I mean,
oh, totally.
last
Oscar winning, director.
Yeah. I think that, yeah.
Very skilled man.
So what about the action in it then? So we've talked about the acting and the sort of characters. So what about the action? Because it's an action film. What are your thoughts on the action of it?
I think some of the action is underplayed, and I think that's what makes it good. Is because you don't really get the I think the only thing that lets it down is the fact that it's a very underplayed action film. It's not huge explosions and everything like that, like the sequels.
Yeah, they get bigger and bigger
and bigger. You know, with the petrol station and the flamethrower and stuff. But I think it's a very underplayed the action is. But I think that it's very tame as well. You know, like it's gunfire. It's very Wild West kind of violence to it. You know, I think the most brutal it gets is with a torture scene.
Yeah.
And when the guy gets shot through the window and it goes through his milk carton.
Yes.
That's about as brutal as it gets, really. I think apart from that, it's not really...
Well, it's that thing of, like you say, we say it's an action film, and it is an action film, no doubt. But it never forgets that it's a detective story.
It never forgets that it can be watched by... It's a non-offensive action film.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a tongue-in-cheek
Yeah. There's always a humour to it.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And it's a likeable action film.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why it's so popular. I mean, like you say, I think a good point is that it's, it came out in a period when you were looking at
Schwarzenegger,
Stallone, so you had like Rambo, Predator, Commando, where everything blew up. There was no detective.
Yeah.
The way you solved a crime in Red Heat, for example, where Arnold's the Russian detective. There's no detective story. It's just I'll go in and beat people up and I'll have fights and I'll blow stuff up and
yeah.
This has got detective story, like when the prostitute's house is blown up and the kids see it.
Oh yes, yeah.
There's an entire sequence of them like questioning the kids and they're talking about the explosive device and Riggs's tattoo and what that could mean, and they're putting things together and yeah, I think that's
a bit of a questionable scene, that when he picks up the little device and says, "Oh look, this is from Nam." What? Hang on. So that house exploded into a million fragments.
Yeah.
You'd have to have forensic on that for like weeks, probably trying to find. And you found the tiniest, smallest thing, and you're bringing it to the front.
Bare hands.
Yeah, bare hands.
So basically, he's leaving. He walks. He puts his pocket as well. So he walks away from the crime scene with evidence. He's basically gone, "Oh yeah, I'll keep that." Yeah.
It's charred. It's probably blown to smithereens.
Yeah.
But he's got a feasible sized chunk that he can pick up, which isn't hot anymore.
It's a convenient piece of evidence. I will give the film that one thing.
Yeah.
There are a couple of others I think that are a bit more questionable.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's one bit in the film. Both you and I have got kids now. Mm-hmm. You more than I. But there's when at the very start of the film, when Murtaugh is having a bath.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Right.
Yeah.
And his kids and his wife burst in.
His kids are like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, and they're all sort of hugging him and talking to him. And I'm like, dude, you're in the bath. That'd be really uncomfortable.
I said, never do that to me, because I wouldn't. No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you wouldn't, would you? Just come and sing happy birthday to me when I'm in the bath completely naked. And it looks like he's been in there for a while as well,
Yeah, he's just relaxing.
He's just relaxing, and they come, and it's like, and then his daughter sits there, Has a conversation with him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
I
felt
feel a bit odd about that.
I felt a little uncomfortable at that point.
Not sure. And then she hugs him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And he seems completely nonplussed by it. Clearly something that happens a lot. There's clearly no lock on their bathroom door.
Yeah, I suppose. But I don't know. I think it's kind of like you just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Wait until Dad's out of the bath, and then we'll surprise him.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's the first thing in the morning. He's going to come down for breakfast. Give him his cake then. Yeah.
Set up a room, put on some banners,
Yeah.
stick a few balloons out.
Yeah.
He'll love it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the other thing I thought about. Like, he's having a bath first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. And I get like you get up, you have a shower, you get ready for work, and all that sort of thing. And there just seems no urgency towards the start of this film. A woman's just thrown herself out of a building, and he doesn't really get the call till later. But it's not like right. Well, I'm a police officer. I've got to get off to work. I've got to go protect people. He's more like, I'll have a bath. I'll run it. Do you know what? I'll see if there's any bubble bath.
But doesn't he? He doesn't get that information till after the bath, though, does he? He has his bath.
No, he
first.
gets called to the. He gets called to the crime scene or whatever. But I don't know. It just felt like a really sort of like he's having a relaxing morning before work. I've just never been able to do that. I think maybe my life's just a little bit too hectic. Maybe.
How many times have you gone to a scene where someone's jumped out of a window onto a car that has really nice breasts, and then when she jumps, she's wearing a bra, and then when she hits the car, she has nice breasts again. Not that I was looking at her breasts.
Slow mo.
Yeah, but yeah, she does. She has a bra when she jumps. It's kind of weird. But. And it disappears. The magical mystery of the
magical mystery bra.
That's what I said to the judge once.
It was.
So yeah, well, it didn't work in my defence. But still, that aside, the I don't know. I think that what can he do? She's dead. So he's just
that's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Oh, I'm gonna have a bath and I'm gonna see this stupid woman who jumped out of a bloody thing. I don't think it should be any urgency. I don't know.
No, I get it. Maybe
if it doesn't start till 10, then
it doesn't start till 10. That's a very good point. I don't know what his rota is.
No, exactly. We don't know.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I mean, the other thing I find interesting about this one is the baddies. Because again, going back to the Royal Nam, they're all
great baddie though.
But I was going to say Gary Busey in this film,
born to be a baddie.
He is brilliant.
Yeah, he's crazy in real life, isn't he?
He's a complete fruitcake. The guy's a complete
love him, bro.
fruitcake. Yeah,
love him.
He's amazing.
I'd queue for hours to meet him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a legend.
He puts his arm out and like it's the flame and stuff underneath it.
Yeah.
And he just that legit. I wouldn't be surprised at that method.
No, that did. Yeah, he did actually.
Seriously?
Do that. Yeah, he did actually did that scene.
Nutcase.
Yeah.
Nutcase. I don't really know. I can't think of a. I don't know a great deal of films that Gary Busey has done. There are only two I can ever think of. Right.
Under Siege.
Oh, is he in Under Siege? I don't know.
Yeah.
I ever think about is Lethal Weapon and Predator 2.
Yeah, I get Bushy's name.
And and he's supposed to be sort of like a bit of a goodie, but Danny Glover in both as well. So
isn't he in Henry Portrait of the Serial Killer? Isn't that Gary Busey?
No, that's Michael Rooker. Oh, he might be Gary Busey in another. I haven't seen that, to be fair. Film I should see at one point.
He's been in lots of. I've seen him in lots of stuff. I can't think of anything at the moment.
But his son.
Yeah.
Completely off tangent. If you've ever seen The Frighteners.
Michael J. Fox.
Kevin. What's it? Peter Jackson film.
Yeah.
He plays like the dead baddie in that, right? And I've seen him in a couple of other films, but I forget his name. Gary Busey. No, Gary Busey.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. I've seen him in a few
He is the
films.
spit of his dad.
Yeah, he is.
Like lunacy runs in that family.
He plays villains again.
Yeah.
He plays
like they're
villains
born
again.
to play him. But he's brilliant. Very nice jumpers in this film. There's a lot of knitwear going on.
There is. There's lots of suits as well.
So, yeah.
Everyone wears
shirt.
a suit except for Riggs.
Yeah. Everyone's smart.
Yeah, but Riggs.
But Mel Gibson.
Who's this homeless guy that's got a gun?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, like you say about the action and stuff as well. Like this film takes a bit of a. There's a clear sort of like 3-act structure, which I like because it's the setup, the thing, and then the final act. But the final act in this film takes like a real like leap. Because you're saying it's really downplayed, but from the moment you've got Martin Riggs being tortured,
Well, lots of people get shot. That's what I was thinking about this. People get shot. There's not really any big, huge explosions and things like that.
There's one. The house explodes. The prostitute's house.
The prostitute, yeah. But I mean, that's early on to set up a storyline. But I mean, you got no. I see the problem I got with Lethal Weapon I love the film, but the payoff is shit.
Do you really think?
I think the payoff is awful. So they go there and let's settle this like men. Let's.
Are you talking the Gibson Busey fight?
Yeah, Busey fight. With a helicopter strategically placed over the top that's got the spotlight on them, and I think, oh come on, that was a bit lame. But then that's the payoff. But then the payoff of the payoff is the fact that they both turn around and they both shoot Busey together, and I think that was just brilliant.
Ripped off 2 years later.
Yeah.
For the end of Die Hard.
Which one was that?
So you've got the blonde flowing locks person that John McClane strangles,
yeah.
and then he comes out, and at the end of the film you have Fat Cop comes out and shoots him and stuff, and it's very much a similar thing. You think it's all down, and then it's all done, and then the baddie jumps back up again in horror movie fashion.
That's hung. That's the thing about that. He's hung by the neck until he's dead.
Yeah,
and then he
still
comes back.
That's
Germans for you.
True. What I have to say about the end fight, in my head, and I haven't seen this for quite a while actually, but in my head this was like an epic man-on-man battle, because you have it's all the water's pouring down and all the police are being held off, and it's these two. And watching it this time, it's edited all over the place. You get masses of flare through the thing from the you said the helicopter light.
Yeah.
Clearly hiding the fact that for much of that fight, it's not Mel Gibson and Gary Busey.
Yeah.
And also hiding the fact that they do like one punch, edit. It's not edited particularly well. So watch this time. I agree that final fight, other than probably the final bit of payoff at the end, is naff.
Well, yeah, but that Gibson wanted to do it, but the studio wouldn't insure him to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me.
Mel Gibson did his own stunts for Mad Max.
Yes, well, but that was more a case of budgetary restrictions, I think, especially for the first one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think he was in a position where he didn't have to after, with number 2 and number 3 after success in number 1 and stuff. But I mean, off the track somewhat. But I mean, we wanted to do it for this one, and I think Addy would have done the stunts himself. I think it would have been a much better thing, and Bushy would have done them as well. But he can do it. So they really legitimately wanted to do everything themselves. But the thing about that fight is that the one thing that I do like about the fight is the wrestling moves.
Yeah, well, it ends with a proper chokehold.
Yeah,
a legit chokehold.
It's the Undertaker's move. It's
pulls the arm through, wraps around the head.
Cloverleaf.
Yeah, type thing.
Texas cloverleaf.
It's a proper.
It's a legitimate chokehold.
It's a legit. Well, I've seen them use it in UFC, so it's a legit chokehold. So which, like you say, it's not. It's none of this movie kung fu. That's when you do see them close up, like some of the punches look good, and it ends brutal.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
I know it's a film. This is Hollywood, but like you said, up until that point, they've been very by the book, and obviously things turn, and that's the point of the third act. I'm still not completely convinced of, as a policeman, they have guns and they shoot people all the time, rightly or wrongly, but you have to have a justifiable reason for killing someone in law enforcement, right?
Oh yeah, not in real life.
No, but in law enforcement, you have to have justifiable reason, right?
Yeah.
Due court,
like if they're Scottish.
Yes, exactly. It's south of the border. Whatever you want. There's a quarter of me twitching right now.
Yeah.
But I felt a little uncomfortable at the end when you've got Danny Glover holding the other police off and basically shouting like, "Martin, Riggs, kill the fucker, kill him, break his neck."
Yeah, break his neck.
And I'm like, I'm not sure you're going to be able to defend that in court.
Yeah. Why didn't you stop the fight then?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Did you arrest him? Was he a threat? No. There were 30 police officers, all fully armed, and a helicopter.
Standing around watching it.
But you still, you all stood there and watched him break his neck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No one's coming out of that. The fact that there's a 2, 3, and 4 amazes me.
They didn't break this. They didn't break his neck.
Yeah. Still,
he makes him pass out.
Yeah.
He stands up and
then they shoot him.
So I was like,
could have been shot in the legs. Could have been shot.
Well,
by the by, but that's the Hollywood thing. Like the baddies have to be killed. If Batman can kill the Joker in '89, or drop some dynamite down a clown's pants in Batman Returns, then I'm sure they can shoot him. They can shoot a baddie in '87.
Yeah, I suppose so. There was a big controversy over the Joker dying in '89, though, wasn't
Yeah. I'm still convinced, and this is completely off topic.
Yeah.
Because the whole Batman kill thing. I've watched it, and I do love the Burton Batman films.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I still don't think that that Batman kills the Joker. The Joker sort of killed. Oh well, aging architecture and the Joker's own decisions killed the Joker.
Yeah.
Because he's on the ladder, he's hanging off the ladder, and Batman fires his rope gun, and part of it wraps around the Joker's leg, part of it wraps around a gargoyle. Right? If he let go of the ladder, he would just fall and swing, hanging on that gargoyle. Right? So he's just trying to stop him from getting away. The Joker hangs on, the helicopter pulls up, and the gargoyle, after 100 or however many years of being there, breaks off. And then the weight of the stone is what pulls back the Joker off the ladder down, to be killed. Just saying.
So, Lethal Weapon.
So back to Lethal Weapon.
Another podcast.
That's another podcast, definitely. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this.
It's a great film.
The chemistry between the whole cast is really good.
It makes me want to watch the sequels.
I've got the Blu-ray box set,
and
I have brought it down. It's now sat in the living room, and I'm like, over Christmas, I think I am going to watch the other ones.
Well, they're all good, though. They're all good. Even number 4 is good.
Yes, I would.
I've got to be honest. There's not a weak sequel. I think they're all equally good as films because they tell the story of the relationship between the two, and also they age throughout it, and they address the fact they're aging. It's not like something like Expendables, and they have 10 years between the films, and they still act as if it's the same time or whatever,
I know what you mean. I totally agree. I know what you mean. No, I agree. They do. Age is a big part of it.
Kurt Russell. There we are. There's the Escape from New York and Escape from LA.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the same time period, and you can clearly see it isn't. And
he's not as fast. He's not as chiseled.
Yeah.
There you go. I actually watched it today. Another example of buddy cop films, Tango and Cash. Is 89, I think 89. That clearly.
It's a great film.
Yeah,
Tango
great
Cash,
film.
Great film.
But that clearly is
Isn't
taken off this.
Kurt Russell in that?
He is, and he's amazing.
Was you Home Alone today by any chance?
I was. Whole roll of Kleenex.
I'm just gonna check the stock exchange to see if Kleenex have gone up.
But no, I agree that the Lethal Weapon franchise is one of the stronger ones. I think
totally.
I find all 4 films incredibly watchable.
They need to make number 5.
Well, this is the thing. Like they've gone to a TV show.
And what they'll do,
I haven't seen yet. But
I started watching it, and I went, right. It's not Mel Gibson. It's not Danny Glover.
So do you think this is something that could they ever reboot? If they forget the TV show,
yeah.
All right, could they reboot Lethal Weapon with new actors?
Well, they will. There's not 2 ways about it. They will, but they shouldn't.
Right.
They shouldn't.
Leave it alone.
What makes Lethal Weapon is Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's portrayals.
Yes, totally agree.
And Joe Pesci as well. When
he comes in later. The second one.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
That's what the thing though. I think like one of the, like you say about the cast actually, and about the story being told, they add to it throughout.
Yeah.
And then by the end film, it's that sort of like why can't we be friends? It's all about family and stuff like that, and it is because they do grow as a family, and each film adds a new character that then becomes part of that character. So you get like Riggs joins the Murtaugh family, then Joe Pesci joins in 2, Joan Allen, what's her name? Rene Russo joins in 3, and then Chris Tucker joins in 4.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that by the time number 4 comes around, Riggs is screwed. He's not the man he used to be.
Too old for this shit.
Yeah, he's too old for this shit, and he does say it in number 4, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he says I'm too old for this shit, and it's all sort of like they're winding it down. They're not as quick as they used to be. They're not as agile as they used to be, and he's calm and he's a little bit more tame and everything. So it does. It's a development. It's a story that develops over time.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
No, you're right. I think it's a solid franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of 10, what would you give Lethal Weapon out of 10?
9.
9?
Yeah, definitely.
Solid 9.
Solid 9.
I'm probably going to go an 8.5 for Lethal Weapon. Just because of how... I don't want to say disappointed, but I think watching it with a critical eye this time, there were a couple of things I was a bit more like, yeah, the final fight is a bit disappointing.
But think about the first time you saw it.
I think you're right. I think the first time I saw it is a 9.
Yeah.
You know, everything from Mel Gibson's crazy portrayal, doing the drug thing at the beginning, and like I say, just Danny Glover protecting his family, like being a father, like going nuts and just trying. Like, you're right. All right, I can be swayed. I'll go with a 9.
Yeah, I think it's right because I mean, the problem is that we'll never get full marks in anything we review because we're looking at it for the second time, unless it's a film we haven't seen before, like Alien 2.
Yeah,
you know, but we're looking at it from a critical eye, which means we'll downplay it somewhat. But I think back to the way it made me feel the first time I saw it.
It's a very good point.
And I think I think a 9, most definitely a 9.
It's definitely a film I would recommend as an alternate Christmas film. Like,
totally.
You know, and one of the things we're going to cover later on, which I haven't mentioned, is he's a five alternate Christmas films. You know, what would be the best 5 alternate Christmas films? I've got a list here we can discuss. Okay, so we both agree that this is a high bar, Lethal Weapon. Right?
Yep.
So this is an early entry for Shane Black, and he's entered in quite a high bar.
What did he do prior to this? Do you know?
I don't think he did a great deal. I think this was his first feature.
Okay.
So then we move a couple of years into the future.
Okay.
And we move to... I think this is going to be a bit more controversial from what you were saying before we started recording.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But all right, from what you were inferring.
Yeah.
Last Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Boy Scout, 1991. Bruce Willis as Joe Hellenbeck and Damon Wayans as Jimmy Dix.
Is this pre-Die Hard or post-Die Hard?
Post-Die Hard.
Really?
Die Hard is 89.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that is something I find... Yeah, there is something about that, actually.
Mm.
Well, no, let's start with you. So go on. So Last Boy Scout. What were your thoughts? When was you watched this with your wife Ruth, and was this the first time you seen it? Like, when did you first see it, or is it?
Well, I saw it quite a while ago, but I can't remember that much about it.
It hasn't got. This is no Lethal Weapon. It hasn't got the exposure of it. You know,
it's dark.
Yeah.
It's a very, very dark with slim elements of humour. Very slim.
This is a much darker film than Lethal Weapon.
And it's a thinking film. I didn't enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I wanted to enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it. And I think that's down to a few factors. I think, it just wasn't. It just wasn't what I anticipated it to be. I'm sure I saw it years ago. I'm absolutely positive I saw it years ago, but I don't know if I saw it all. I just see there's certain things I seem to remember in the film. I go, oh, this is all familiar.
Yeah.
But and if that happens, if something goes, oh, this is familiar, then I know that it wasn't that memorable enough to remember. So it's kind of like already sends alarm bells. But I found myself wanting something to happen.
Okay. It's a slow start. No,
it's a slow burn. Yeah.
It's definitely, and I'm going to say again. Well, no, we'll say again. I think this is not a full balls out action film, is it? This is again that there's
no. This is Lethal Weapon, but darker.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. I think
without being the buddy cop movie, but I mean, you look at Martin Riggs' character in Lethal Weapon, you look at Bruce Willis' character in Last Boy Scout. Pretty much the same character.
I agree. No, and that's one of the things I really noted from this. I think this is almost like a more pessimistic redemption story. Lethal Weapon is Riggs' redemption story. He's bringing him back from the edge.
Yeah.
Him finding a family and finding a reason to go on. This again, it's a redemption story, but it's really dark, really pessimistic. More noir than the thingy.
It's very comic book, isn't it?
In a way, yeah. I agree with that. I think the thing is, remember as well that Lethal Weapon not only was written by Shane Black, directed by Richard Donner, Superman 2, Richard Donner. So you got that sort of like produced by Joel Silver and directed by Richard Donner. Very high class, high budget. Got that sheen. Trying to get, like you said, inoffensive action film. Trying to attract as bigger audience as possible. I feel that, like I say, Last Boy Scout is allowed to be a bit more gritty. is allowed to be grittier. And he's, like I say, I think it's got lower budget. I like it because of that.
Okay.
There's a pessimism to this film, but it also brings up.
I was pessimistic watching it, you know. But you know, the problem with it is that the random bad guys. That's what I think. That's what got to me more than anything else. Was random bad guy number one, random bad guys number two, random. Who the flicking hell are these? You know, it's like plume to flume.
Yeah, I get the feeling, and I don't know if this is the case. I'd probably have to look to it. It almost feels like this was written before Lethal Weapon. So like he's almost, you know, like it's almost like someone's gone, Lethal Weapon's a six. What else have you got in your drawer?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got this.
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as a that's a very good point actually. Retrospectively, if I think about it now, I think that you're probably quite right on that. I think he's probably had a load of shit left in the drawer and he just went, I've got this.
Someone's knocked on his door and gone, what else you got? Because Lethal Weapon was really successful. But you're right. I mean, all the bad guys, they've all got tics.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one of them scratches his neck and likes to use big words. One calls him Joseph, and you know, all that sort of thing.
And the one in the alley as well. The one when he glasses in the
big
alley.
black guy, the basically Haitian dude,
token black guy.
Yeah, who dies.
Know,
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't die. He just leaves him in a puddle of pain.
He dies. I mean, that guy's bleeding out on the floor.
I saw him in another film. He's fine.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. You know, but there's a level of pessimism to this film.
They just turn up though.
Yeah,
they just turn up. They're just like all of a sudden it's like,
and they know where they are all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what? This is before GPS, before internet. What the hell? You know what's going on?
Yeah,
and they just turn up, and it's
that is a really good point. Actually, that is a really good point. I think this film is again, like Lethal Weapon, is carried by its main cast, and in this case, I would say that they're not as good.
No, I don't think there was any chemistry between them. I don't think there's.
But I think there is. It's
really?
It's not Gibson Glover level.
Oh no, but you would expect it. Different kind of relationship.
But I quite like the friendship between them. And watching it this time.
Was it Damon
Wayans?
I don't see.
I'm not a big fan of the Wayans brothers when they did all the spoofs. There's a couple. I don't like the horror ones they did. But there's like Don't Be a Menace to Society in South Central LA, which is that's quite funny. But the I don't know, the friendship between them, the bubbles between them is, you know, I quite like. I'd have liked to have seen a follow up to this. Them doing another investigation as private detectives.
Don't you think The Last Boy Scout is not explained though? Why it's called The Last Boy? Do you think that's a thrown away title though?
Because
it's touched on very briefly.
It's supposed to be. There's a single throwaway line, where he talks about being prepared and being a Boy Scout, and it's literally gone. I think again, it's either, right? It's like you said, it's a thinking film. Either it's got some deep meaning, right? Yeah. In the sense of you know, he was a CIA agent or he was one of the Secret Service agents or something like that basically got, you know, screwed over, but he's kept that moral compass,
which again is not really explained. You have these flashback scenes, and then when if I was to put that on my editing software, right, and edit back all the flashback scenes, it wouldn't make sense.
No, the flashbacks don't add up. I agree with that.
It's just like
I get the gist of what's gone on. It's to do with that senator with the big teeth.
Yeah.
Who's all part? Who's part of this whole sporting gambling conspiracy?
But he punched him and then he saved him, and it's like.
Yeah, but there's a difference between.
Which one is it?
But that's because the Boy Scout, he doesn't want he's not going to allow someone to be killed because they're. But it's a little bit grey. But then again, like you say, so is it that? Is it got some deep meaning about him being that sort of like having that moral compass, or is it like it just sounds cool?
But I don't. I think an action film. I don't want an action film to test my mind too much. I don't want to think too much about it. You know, I mean, if I want a film to test my mind, I watch something like Inception.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Which you know, and that's a thing. That's a film that you guys go, what? Whereas Last Boy Scout, I found myself saying that, and I shouldn't be. And it's like it's an action film. It's a plain out black and white action film. Yeah,
it is
very noir-esque.
It's more noir.
Yeah,
and you know, going back.
It's noir, but in a more modern time as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's old fashioned in its filmmaking and its style, but it's set in a modern time.
I think the thing is, these are not. I think we need to be clear now. I think these are not all-out action films. These are not Commando. These aren't these. These are modern detective stories. These are.
Yeah.
I'm thinking these are more like. This is more like a Sam Slade, Maltese Falcon, an update of something like the Maltese Falcon, or one of those 40s noir gangster films. That's more what this is than an action film.
I think I agree with you. It's a gangster film. Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I think this is, and I agree with you about the bad guys popping up. But at its heart, this is a gumshoe private detective story. Who, he is Sam Slade. He's an out and out. He's a bit of a bum.
If you touch me again, I'll kill you.
Yeah, well, he follows through on his promises.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? So.
Yeah, he's a little bit liberal.
Why did they keep him alive? I don't understand it. It's a James Bond theory again, isn't it? It's that James Bond sort of like problem. Is that you put Mr. Bond into a room?
Well, they were going to frame him. They were going to frame him for killing. No, they needed him alive because they're going to frame him for killing the senator. Because the senator's basically taken the money, or asking for too much money.
They were going to the gun.
Yeah,
and also as well as that, his fingerprints on the gun of shooting that cop at the scene, right?
Yeah,
the gun is his own gun, which is registered to him, is thrown out the window. So, and then at the end of the film, they just kind of it's not mentioned again.
Yeah,
it's like,
so you didn't kill that police officer earlier? No.
All right, then. No worries.
We'll take your word for that.
No worries.
That's fine.
Do you want to go look after my daughter for me?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
I wonder if it's a sign of the times. And again, I say I've got it in my head. I think like the early 90s is the late 80s and early 90s. There was a period when things were they were trying to make things grittier.
Yeah.
We'd sort of turned away from the bombast and the loud colours of the 80s. And I think things were becoming grittier. Like I say, the whole grunge scene was taking off, heavy metal was going in a different direction.
Yeah.
Even in comics, like, you've had like Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, all this other stuff. This feels to me like another, I don't want to say casualty, this is another example of things trying to be grittier in the 90s. If this film was made 10 years earlier, you'd have had Eddie Murphy. This film's very similar to 48 Hours in many ways. It's that the clashing buddy personalities, but this would have had a lot more humour in it if it was made like I'd even say 5 years earlier.
I think one bit in the film, going back right towards the beginning, is when he turns up at he's sleeping in his car.
Yeah,
and then you think, right, so he's like a private dick that sleeps in his car. And he goes, oh, hang on, no, he's got a wife, right? So he's at home now. And then he goes, oh, someone is here because the toilet seat has been left up and not put down. Let me ask you a question. Do you pull the toilet seat up every time you go to the toilet? No,
I pee all over the place.
There
so up the walls, across the mirror.
There's a plot hole right here.
Yeah.
No, if that's a very well-disciplined man, and if a very, very well-disciplined man like that is shagging my wife, good luck to you.
Yeah.
You're a better man than I am.
To be fair, and I know, right, this is the thing, though, and this is the problem I've had with this film for a long, long time, is maybe the guy's hung like a horse, I don't know, but I'll be honest, early 90s Bruce Willis, alright, he's shabby Bruce Willis. He's still better looking than the other bloke.
I know the other bloke
he was like
is
a tubby middle-aged guy with a big moustache.
Yeah. And his wife is quite hot.
She is. Yeah. I struggle to picture that in my head. When you sort of go, he's not shagging her. That does not work at all.
No, not a chance.
It did not play for me. That bit does not play for me at all. I like his thing, though. He's like, head or gut.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, come on. He's like, head or gut? He's like, gut. Punches him in the gut. I quite like that. That's I'm going to try that work. Something that's going my way. Head or gut. See how long that lasts.
Excuse me? So I'd probably say something like chair or kendo stick.
Yeah.
Something like that. Chair or thumbtacks.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
Just follow me.
Chair or Barbie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's bittersweet, isn't it? When because she runs out of the house, the car blows up. She runs out of the house, and is she yelling for?
She thinks it's Bruce Willis that's been blown up until.
But it's not his car.
No. But she doesn't. She just seen she's just heard the explosion, and
she's running down there.
Yeah.
With her legs dripping.
Yeah.
Just. Well, you may have
moist.
To, I think we need to edit that with that.
Yeah, I will. I will edit out the word moist.
And legs dripping.
No, I think that she the wife in this is a little confused. I find the relationship a little confusing.
Strained.
He's obviously been kicked out of the Secret Service. He's taken it badly. He's become a private detective, and he's struggling to cope with that failure. I think he considers himself a failure. That's why I think that this is a redemption story. This is him being able to come to terms with that, and knowing he can actually do some good. It takes go to therapy. Surely it's better than doing all this. But I really like this film actually. It's a film I do go back to quite a bit. I think part of it because I like the pessimism. The one thing I'll say is though,
that doesn't fill me with any confidence about you and these podcasts, because you go back to this film, right? Which is okay, fair enough. But you bought the extended edition of Superman, Batman vs Superman on Blu-ray, and you told me that how much you hated the film.
I hate we're going to cover this. We're going to cover this every bloody show.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I will say this though.
When a guy like that, when a guy like you buys that Blu-ray after phoning me, I think we had a conversation on the phone about how much you hated the film and you bought it, and now you're saying that you warrant The Last Boy Scout because you keep going back to it. It's like, oh, come on.
I enjoy this film. I find there's some elements of humour. The thing I would say about Bruce Willis is though, we said about Mel Gibson actually being a good actor.
Who would you cast if it wasn't Mel Gibson? If it wasn't
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Okay, let's put this film now. Let's remake this film now. Okay, with the exact same.
Oh, that's difficult. Who would I do it with now?
Because do you like this film because of who's in it, or do you like this film because of the story? Because
no, you got a point. I like this film because I do like the script. The story, the plot is I don't give a monkey's about. I'm not, I don't really follow American football.
It's a very
thin plot.
And confusing plot.
I actually like it. It's a nostalgia. I think a big part of it is the nostalgia thing.
If we were to do an honest trailer about this, right?
Oh,
we would kind of go. There's the random bed guy. Yeah. Random bed guy. Another random bad
starring
guy.
Random Bad Guy number 1, starring Random Bad Guy number 2.
Yeah, and something about money.
Yeah.
Oh, and the senator, and well, that's it, folks.
Well, I think, like you say.
Oh, and he killed a cop. Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do that, starring, it stars scruffy John McClane.
Yep.
Because we were saying that Mel Gibson is a surprisingly good actor, and watching Lethal Weapon, you see he's actually got some nuance in that. Bruce Willis, although he cares, and I think he actually, he brings that snark and sort of like, snarky, sarcastic charm that he has. In this, he's an unshaven John McClane. There is no difference. Joe Hallenbeck is John McClane from Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's no difference.
I think as
Die Hard with a Vengeance could have been Last Boy Scout 2.
Quite possibly. But I think John McClane has more personality, though.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has more personality. Yeah.
I've just thought of something actually, and this is completely off. It's another Christmas film.
Is it me
Die
naked
Hard
again? Because I told you I don't like talking about this on podcast.
No. Don't worry. I'll keep that for off air.
Okay.
We talked about how, despite its the detective stories that is The Lethal Weapon, it's a relatively positive progression. The family grows, and actually it's about people adding people, tolerating people like Joe Pesci. Die Hard, and watching that, it's basically about the disintegration through major events in someone's life.
Die Hard.
The Die Hard franchise is is about a guy's life falling to bits.
Oh yeah,
so as in Lethal Weapon, it gets bigger, and each one they sort of like they get closer.
It makes you think that this guy is just fucking unlucky, really, to be honest with you.
Or he's a dick. But they're separated.
Jinx.
Yeah, they're separated in at the start of Die Hard. They're back together by Die Hard 2. But all throughout Die Hard 2. That's probably the high point of his marriage.
Yeah.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
He's a bum.
He's a bum. He's a detective, but he's back in New York. He has divorced, and he's been suspended. He's a drunk, and then you get 4, which he's not talking to his kids.
Yeah.
And he ends up in the whole thing. 5, he ends up going to Russia to try and reconnect with his son, and he's a complete mess. And also the acting gets worse. It's a
number 6 coming out soon.
Oh, don't. No. I don't even acknowledge the last
Well,
one.
they're making it now, aren't they?
I've no idea. I ignore it. Bruce Willis is just done straight to video crap these days. The man does not care. Lethal Weapon, strong franchise. Die Hard, first three, very, very good.
But then
4, 5, terrible.
But then again, you talk the Last Boy Scout, right? Last Boy Scout, end of Last Boy Scout, what happens?
He dances a jig.
He dances a jig, but before he dances a jig, what happens?
He kills the guy in the rafters lights thing.
They have a fight.
Yeah.
End of Lethal Weapon, they have a fight.
Yeah.
Do you see a pattern coming out? See, I think Shane Black. What's just asking you a question, but what's the Christmas element with this film? Is there a Christmas element?
It's just set at Christmas. All of these films are just set at Christmas.
This is set at Christmas. I couldn't find anything to do with any reference to Christmas in it.
No, if you watch it, there's decorations up. There's Christmas decorations up and all that kind of stuff.
Could be Hanukkah.
Well, it's the same time. Hanukkah's
November.
No, it's not. It's after. It's the 12 days Christmas now. It's Hanukkah. Yeah.
Oh, it's Hanukkah. How thick do I feel?
Yeah.
Not
I could be
Hanukkah.
completely wrong.
I was thinking about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know.
But the Shane Black just sort of sets a lot of his films.
So do you reckon Shane Black had a miserable Christmas, or he hates Christmas? I
just think he hates Christmas because he wrote and directed Iron Man 3, and that's set at Christmas as well. I excluded it from this list because it's crap. But
okay.
He's just got a thing for Christmas. You know about you were talking about pessimism and this being a darker film. I mean, let's talk. I mean, this film, we talked about the opening of Lethal Weapon. It opens with a woman jumping out of a building.
Yeah, the disappearing bra.
The disappearing bra.
The magician.
Yeah,
she's a magician.
Right? And I can't comment on the other two films yet because I haven't seen them in a while, so I'll have to wait till we see Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Long Kiss Goodnight. But this film opens with an American football player pulling a gun during a game.
Oh, great sequence!
Shooting several guys and then killing himself.
What does he say when he?
Isn't life a bitch? And then,
is that what he says?
Yeah, I think something like that. And then shoots himself.
Yeah. It's
an amazing sequence, but it really sets the scene for you. Like, wow, this is dark. Like, you've just seen a guy kill himself in front of thousands and thousands of people. So, it's. Have you ever read any of the detective stories from the 30s and stuff like this? Pulp novels.
Yeah.
That's what I think this is. Like, forget Lethal Weapon.
Pulp type.
This is a pulp fiction story. That's what I think this is.
I think the best thing that it could have done though is they could have rehashed. Shane Black should have rehashed that beginning sequence, and gone boom, 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 boom. The entire thing, same as it is, and then the footballer shoots his brains out, and then you flash up. Batman vs Superman extended edition, now available on Blu-ray, or you could do this.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there.
I'm going to make you watch that one day. I haven't bought Suicide Squad Extended Edition.
No,
I won't be doing that because that was awful.
I liked Suicide Squad. I went to see it twice.
Did you?
Yeah, I really did. I thought it was entertaining.
It was all right. I struggled with it, to be honest. By the end, I struggled. The last 20 minutes, I was having to hold myself in the seat because I was like, I will stay to the end, but I want to leave.
There's an Easter egg. Hidden Easter egg on there, which I've got the way of accessing.
Oh, okay. Have you bought the Blu-ray of it then?
Not yet. No, I will get it.
Okay, yeah.
Which just shows you the clips of Harlequin. So I'm definitely
Margot Robbie.
Buy it.
I'll watch it.
Yep.
But going back to this, the other thing I love about this film, and I've actually seen something. It's an earworm. It's been stuck in my head since I watched this the other night. Is that Friday night's a great night for football, which just opens the film.
Oh, that's yes,
and opens. It's like the opening of a football thing. Alex was like, "What are you singing?" And I was singing it in the kitchen. There, I was like, "Friday night's a good night for football." She's like, "What are you singing? You don't even like football."
Yeah.
So good film.
She was explaining that to me the other night when we were together.
Oh, okay. When your wife was giving birth.
That's the one.
Yeah. All right. Let's skip to the end then.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Lethal Weapon.
We can edit both of them bits. I think it's really appropriate for your podcast.
No.
There we go.
Lethal Weapon was 9 out of 10. I think on both parts. What would you give Last Boy Scout?
3 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I'd give it a
3 out of 10.
And what other ones?
That's what we were giving Alien 2.
Oh yeah, okay.
Sula Terra.
But
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to try and dissuade you.
know.
That's how you felt.
I'm going to give it a 4. Let's not be. At the end of the day, it had moments of entertainment.
Would you go back and watch this film?
No,
Okay, that's fine.
no, I wouldn't go back and watch it. No, I don't know. It's one of these things where I watched it because I had to.
Yeah. Well, that's
but also as well, I watched it because Bruce Willis was in it. I mean, on paper, it looks good. But in reality, it's just full of it. It was. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a Pulp Fiction type of person. Not the film Pulp Fiction, but I mean that thing.
That sort of noir style.
I don't know if I find it a bit too drawn out. I think I probably want my. I think I think you need to tell a story, and the way in which you tell a story that appeals to my my pattern, my way of thinking, needs to be formalistic. So it needs to be a more fluent and linear kind of way.
I'm going to be really intrigued to see what you think of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, because that is, I would say, a more optimistic film. It's got it's less dark than this, but it's definitely a detective story.
Yeah.
So I'll be really intrigued to see what you think of that, because I think it's a great film. We'll get into that next show.
I have no problem with detective stories generally. I think my issue with Last Boy Scout was the case of it took a long time to explain a small thing which became somewhat insignificant in the greater scheme of things.
You mean the plot?
Yeah. It just it just seemed like all this shit happening in such. I mean, Bruce Willis. You got to be honest. In the entire film, Bruce Willis is either the most luckiest man alive, or the police force in that area are really shit.
Oh God, yeah.
Because I mean, it's just like he's kind of a law unto himself. He's above the law in this, and he's just like above the law. And it's like, Jesus, really?
Yeah, there's running gun battles in the street at one point. That's never. It's never really
never mentioned.
He gets to walk out of a police station because the police have really got it in for him. Like you say, you do see the police in this. They feature quite strongly.
Yeah,
and they have got it in for him, but they can't seem to prove anything. They can't seem to get anything on him yet. He has had a running gun battle in the street. He's had his car blown up.
Yeah.
And, he's been involved in other car chases.
He killed 2 people with C4.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
So it's your car. The VIN plates actually match the fact that it's your car. It's got your registration plate, which we found all charred, but it's still managed out. It's still your car registered to you. And there's 2 dead bodies next to it, and there's C4 in the trunk that was used to explode it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything about that. Okay, then off you go, then, Bruce.
I'm also going to suggest, I don't think C4 works like that.
No, it's an interesting one. Let's slam the. They slammed the boot down, didn't they?
I have no idea, but I'm sure it doesn't work that way.
No.
But yeah, no, there are plot holes in this. It feels, and that's what I'm saying. I felt this was written before Lethal Weapon, because it feels like a less polished story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. It's not as polished as my shits, to be honest with you.
Well, I know. Yeah, I don't like that. I agree. The plot. In fact, you're tarnishing the film for me. But you're right. I mean, the plot is thin. Some of the characterizations are a little bit weak.
What do you get out of the film? What do you get when you watch the film? What do you get? Do you get a sense, like when you watch Lethal Weapon, you get a sense of like going, "I was actually pretty entertaining. I'm pretty entertaining. I'm pretty enjoyed about that." And I'd watch a second one of this. Whereas with the end of,
I like pulp. The thing is, I think I like that kind of pulp fiction.
But it's got nowhere to go after the film, though. It's got nowhere. The story's been told. There's nothing can go.
Well, you think of just another adventures. You just go on another sort of like you could just do another.
You can't
detective.
go on another adventure with a football player.
No, it becomes a private detective. They become a private detective team, and it becomes sort of like Joe and Jimmy or Helen, Beck and Dix. That's the sort of I don't know.
Football player come private detective.
Exactly. I
wouldn't pay for one of them. What do you say?
Take my money. I would watch. Last Boy Scout 2 should have been made.
Why do you represent me in my divorce in court? What used to be? I used to be a chef. I used to be a binman. Oh right, okay. You're a sister now. No, I just did one case and I thought, well, what the hell?
The thing I would say is like, what do I get from this film? What do I get from it? I will say that I think I like the snarky charm of this film. And I I do get something from it. I do find this film entertaining. I will admit, it's not a great film, but I still find this film entertaining.
Right. Okay.
There are moments in this film that really make me laugh. You know.
So is it top shelf in your collection?
Oh no. This
it's
isn't.
it's not a top shelf film.
It's not a top shelf film. This isn't even like I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not 10, 100.
Is this bottom shelf? Stick the sofa against it so no one sees you got it.
No, it's not that far down.
A bit like Batman versus Superman.
Do you know what this film
edition.
is? Yeah, this film. I'll tell you what this film is to me.
Yeah.
In minutes is because I have watched it quite a few times. If I'm doing something else, right?
Like at work.
Yeah, it could be at work.
If you're at work, player in the house.
It could
it's
be.
a great film,
Yeah.
then, you know.
I can do other things and have this on in the background, and I can, if I turn around, you know, and it's been 10 minutes, whatever, I can go, okay, well, I was there and I was here. I know what's happened, and I can just enjoy it watching it that way, or I can sit down and watch it all the way through.
Okay.
I don't know. The performances are okay. Bruce Willis in this, stubbly Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis has got has got like two performances, right? There's non-stubbly Bruce Willis, and then there is stubbly Bruce Willis. So when he's clean shaven,
there's Moonlight in Bruce Willis as well.
which is but that's pre movie career,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
But that's it. That's the three faces of Willis.
And I would suggest that what he used in Moonlighting, he then used for Hudson Hawk. That Hudson Hawk
totally.
is
Yeah, it's
Moonlighting. But stubble Bruce Willis,
Great film, by the way.
Hudson Hawk.
I love Hudson Hawk.
It is a good film. That's an underrated film.
Yeah,
That is.
totally. We ain't got a barrel of money.
Yeah.
They just the entire
We should have to review
sequence.
that.
Oh,
we should do a
man.
Bruce Willis retrospective at some point.
Totally.
Stubbly Bruce Willis is this, and it's the same character, right? This, Die Hard with a Vengeance,
Yeah.
and then I'll go as far as Sin City.
Okay.
So the character he plays in that,
Sin City is Last Boy Scout, basically. I think it's a
the character he plays in that could have been Joe Hallenbeck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I agree with that.
It's but then clean shaven Bruce Willis is Die Hard 1. Have you seen The Siege?
Yes, yeah, the Siege.
You know, he's got those sort of he plays a bit more stand up straight kind of thing.
Last Man Standing.
Last Man Standing.
Great film.
That's a good film. That's another underrated film. That's an underrated Bruce Willis film. But obviously it's for A Fistful of Dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is obviously was a play on another Japanese film, I think. Okay.
Which, yeah,
So what
Japanese film was Fistful of Dollars. Yeah. I think that's what it was.
I'm going to edit out any sort of like trace racism in this podcast. Yeah. Okay, so you gave it 4?
I give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4 because
Okay, 4.
It's not on the par of Alien. You know.
I'm going to give this a 7.
Wow.
To me, this is still a 7.
Wow.
That because you said how does it make you feel when you first saw it, and this is sort of like you said it was forgettable, and in this case you were like,
I wouldn't say it's forgettable. I just think it's not something I'd return to. No, I wouldn't forget it.
For me, there's a nostalgia with this film.
I was married once.
Yeah,
I never forget that. I never go back to it, but I'll never forget it. You know, it's just one of those.
It's a fair shout. So okay, give it 4. I'm gonna give it 7. I'm gonna stand by my 7. I think so. Just out of curiosity, so going back to both films, then, what do you think these two films have got on IMDb? Lethal Weapon, IMDb score. What do you think?
7.9.
7.6.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Last Boy Scout.
About a 2.
6.9.
Wow. Okay.
So
I know I completely agree why people. I can completely see why people get it and people like it. It's just not my bag.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see why. I can see why this isn't for everyone.
Yeah. I need more.
Yeah.
I need more.
Yeah.
You know.
So that is the first 2 of our Shane Black Christmas retrospective. Interesting conversation. I was fascinated. It's been fascinating to see your opinions on those films. Actually, I'm glad we both like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Interesting discussion around Last Boy Scout.
Cool.
So
can I put my clothes back on now?
You can.
Why do you insist that I'm naked when I do these podcasts?
Because if I feel the urge to oil you up, it's easier. But next week, then, next show, we are going to be doing Long Kiss Goodnight.
That's only when you leave.
Which is a buddy pairing between Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, when Gina Davis didn't look like a trout.
Yes.
Yeah. She's terrible. Have you seen the face? What she's done to her face? She was such a pretty woman.
Yeah, well, she was a model, wasn't she?
Oh, she's
And,
gorgeous. Steven Seagal's missus, wasn't it?
was she?
Yeah.
We'll have to discuss that next time.
Yeah, I'm sure she was a Gina Davis, Steven Seagal's missus. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
No, she's Rennie Harlin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, it's
Rennie
even more
Harlin's
interesting.
missus, yeah.
So that's sort of mid-90s. And then we're breaking our rule because we are jumping into the 21st century, but we're also going to cover Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is...
Samuel L. Jackson. Oh, no.
Robert Downey Jr.'s
Downey Jr.
first film after his dalliances, and Val Kilmer.
The late great.
Yeah.
The late great.
He's very good in this. So,
Well, I say
we're
late
gonna cover
great.
those.
He's not dead yet, is he, Val Kilmer?
no, but his acting career is. So I'll accept that. But before we go, I thought that this episode we're going to do a top 5, and then next week we're going to do a top 5. This week I want to do alternate Christmas films.
Right,
And
okay.
and then next week, to end on a high note, ready for festivities, I think we'll do our proper festive films.
Okay.
The top 5 festive films, and we can discuss them. So I've got 5 here, and I'm going to throw them out, and you can say yay or nay, and then you can throw some ideas my way as well.
Okay, we'll probably match on a few of them, actually, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure we will, because there's a couple that are just standard. So I'm going to go with the top one.
Okay.
This is why we consider it to be the top alternate Christmas film. All right? And everyone says it's the best Christmas film that's not a Christmas film. It's Die Hard.
Totally.
Sticking with Bruce Willis.
Oh, totally. It's from a creative standpoint.
Yep.
To write a film or to write a story based in one location. Mm-hmm. Singly one of the hardest acts anyone can do as a writer.
Yep.
It's easy to write, but it's hard to keep it interesting.
Mm.
And Die Hard is the epitome of a fantastically well-made film.
It's such a well-structured film.
Oh, it's fantastic. There's a book to Die Hard as well.
Well, no, this is interesting. It's based on a book. Die Hard is based on a
yeah,
book.
but go on. Sorry.
No, because it's based on. So weirdly, this is a little tidbit for you. It's based on a book called Roderick Thorpe.
Yep.
Called Nothing Will Last Forever. It was a sequel to another book called The Detective.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, so The Detective was also made into a film in the late 60s.
Okay.
And starred Frank Sinatra as the John McClane role.
Oh, wow.
And
Frank Sinatra was actually called John McClane.
I don't think it was called John McClane in the film, because he's not called John McClane in the book, so the name was changed.
Did he sing Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker? Because that would have been really cool.
Yeah, in a real sort of like lounge way.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. So apparently at one point when they were looking back, because the books have got a distance between them.
Yeah.
The follow up actually has an aging character. This detective character is elderly, or is getting on, and they actually turned to. I think they were considering Frank Sinatra at one point. This film was going to be made a lot earlier in the 80s, and they were looking to actually use an aging Frank Sinatra to play the role. Thank God they didn't.
Frank Sinatra jumping off a building would have been well impressed by that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened. But
if he would have did it, he would have did it his way.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, Die Hard, excellent film.
Oh, I think it's a great film,
and he's always in my rotation.
And not actually considered to be a Christmas movie by most people. When in actual fact, that's exactly what it is. It's
he's coming back,
a Christmas movie.
He's coming home for Christmas.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Mind you,
number
I've seen
one.
saw his wife. I wouldn't come home for Christmas for his wife.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Holly McClane, Holly Gennaro.
Yeah.
I forget the woman's name, but yeah, I'd know her. Okay. Have you got one you're throwing, or shall I go at the next one?
I think top of my head. This is Gremlins.
Yeah, on my list. That's what I've got.
Is on your list as well?
So on my list, I love Gremlins.
Okay.
I love Gremlins. It was a film that
It
terrified
is
me.
Christmas again. It's a Christmas film again.
Yeah, totally. It's totally
You know.
a Christmas film.
And a brilliant Christmas film as well. Joe Dante.
Yeah,
And
Chris Columbus.
Yeah, Chris Columbus. Absolutely, what a good collaboration it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it stands the test of time.
Oh, it stands up. Do you know why it stands up? Practical effects.
Everything done by hand, not by CGI.
Yeah, they're puppets. Nah,
Yeah.
I think that's why it stands up so well. It's all in screen. It's all there. You know, even the little shunkier bits still look really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent Christmas film. Excellent Christmas film.
Cool. I agree with that one. I agree with that.
I tell you what, I shall tell a story.
Okay.
I remember watching this as a kid, in the late 80s. This obviously came out in 84, 85, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I watched a bit later.
It's around the
on.
same time as Ghostbusters.
Yes,
And
maybe
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, so around
as
that
well.
time, mid 80s. I watched this film and it scared me so much. I went to bed and lay on my pillow, and you get the pulse in your ears, right? It scared me so I could feel the pulse in my ears. More than I could hear the pulse in my ears, and I thought it was footsteps in my bedroom, and I was convinced that gremlins were creeping into my bedroom.
Oh my God,
And,
what did you do?
I got out of bed and went to see my parents when I was like whatever age I was.
Wow,
And they were
I'm surprised you're here today. I mean, that was last night, yeah.
That was yes, it was yeah. It was following my 35th birthday.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I love this film, and again, this is a great film. You were talking about dark. You were talking about dark for Last Boy Scout. Gremlins is a dark film.
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
moments
totally.
of really dark humour. And what's her name?
Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates' monologue.
Oh man, just yeah.
People complained about that. Oh, it kills the pace of the film. No,
Not at all.
I love it.
No, I think it's great.
It's
I
an
think
amazing
great.
piece. It's because it's not supposed to be taken serious. It's a joke, isn't it? I mean, that's without being horrific. It's that sort of thing of like, why are you talking about this now? Like we've got more important things to do. Yeah. Oh yeah, great film. Great choice. Okay, I'm going to throw one at them.
Throw one out.
Batman Returns.
Interesting choice.
It's completely set at Christmas.
Yeah.
They even have a tree light ceremony.
Yeah.
And all that kind of thing in the film.
Yeah.
It's a great film. I'm really big on the Burton Batman films. I'm a huge Batman fan. I'm a huge comic book fan. I'm a real geek in that area, and I get that like Batman kills people in the films, that kind of thing. It's a what if world for me, but it's so stylish. It's a beautiful film to watch on Blu-ray. That film.
No, that's fair enough.
Have you seen it? What's your opinion of Batman Returns?
No, I love it. I love it. I think it's a great film. I think it's dark. I think it's the way Batman should be. I think it's a very different slant from the first film, from the Keaton thing, and I think it stands alone in that series of the run of Batman films.
Yeah.
I think it stands alone right up until
the Burton verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic film. The one thing I will say about this film, though, is Gotham City is supposed to be a sprawling metropolis. It's supposed to be a New York kind of size city. Whether it was budgetary or because it was on soundstage, it does not look sparse in this film.
It does. I think it was done mostly in this country, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, like Pinewood or one of those.
Yeah.
But there are scenes in this film where they're making some like big announcement, like when the Penguin's doing his mayoral speech, and there's like 4 people and a kid that have come to see him. It looks a little sparse.
Well, the first Batman they did was in Elstree.
Oh, was
because the set where the Joker lands on the concrete, they kept that set up. And when when I was at Elstree doing some shit down there in Bournemouth, they were showing us around some of the stages, and there was the set, so we was all able to lay in Jack Nicholson's things. So it was like, oh man, this is quite cool. I'm laying on Jack Nicholson thing, so that's quite cool. So I think it probably would have been at Elstree as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're most likely then. Most likely.
Yeah.
But I listened to the Danny Elfman soundtrack to that film. That's a Christmas put on. I pop that on as well every year. I love that film. Okay, what else? Go on. Any others you've got? So we've got 3 so far. We've agreed. I think we've agreed on these. But if you've got, what else would you say?
Gosh, it's a tough one, isn't it? See, because there's so many I can think of that are actual.
It's where do you draw the line between an alternative Christmas film and a Christmas film?
Well, we've had Die Hard as a Christmas film. See, I'd say Labyrinth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because Labyrinth is set around the Christmas time because the parents go for to the Christmas ball. So it's all set around that time. And then if you think about the film Labyrinth, there's lots of elements of it, like the snowdrops. In the ball at the end, and so there's lots of elements there of Christmas type of subliminal things there. A great film, and I think to me that screams Christmas. Labyrinth does.
It's got there's the colour scheme and the lavishness of parts of it as well.
Yeah.
Really.
And the autumn winter type of scenario going on, and the leaves on the floor and stuff. So it's very out there. It's a very
No.
solid
I love it.
film.
Good choice. I think I'd say that another film that I think is I don't know if it's a cult film these days, but again I've got it on Blu-ray, and when you watch it, stands the test of time. Practical effects. Some of the puppets in that, Ludo in that film,
Yeah.
is awesome. There's a couple of dodgy ones when the fox is riding the the dog and stuff.
But yeah. But I mean, you can be forgiven. you know? And
But,
one of the greatest villains.
Yes.
You know, who
Bowie's
is-
penis is
Well, the whole thing about it is the fact that Jareth is sexy, a villain, and he's the Stone Cold Steve Austin of the 80s.
yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You
I
know,
get that.
he is an awesome. I'm a huge
But he's
Bowie fan. so,
yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah. Bowie's amazing in that film.
Yeah, totally.
He's good to the fact that like at no point do you question why is this Goblin King that's actually been played by a guy in his 30s with no pants on because he's clearly showing.
He was a little older than in his 30s at
All
this
right,
stage. Yeah, so,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was knocking on a bit. Clearly willing to show dong. Right?
yeah.
Lusting and pursuing a 14-year-old girl. And she was playing her age, so she was 14.
Jennifer Connelly was never 14 when she did that.
Yeah.
No way.
Seriously, she was playing her age.
Really?
Yep.
I find that hard to believe.
It-
She was
well-
a very developed 14-year-old, as she was.
She was, and when I found this out, I felt a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I do now.
Yeah, you do.
I will tonight when I watch it back.
Yeah, but seriously, she's like 14, 15 when they made that film, but at no point do you question the sexual,
Turn back, Sarah.
Yeah,
Turn back before it's too late.
yeah. He was a sexy dude.
Oh, he was a man. If we ever do something regarding Bowie podcast, I'll tell you my Bowie story from Glastonbury.
We could definitely do a Bowie
I
retrospective.
think
Man Who Fell to Earth
man,
and
yeah.
Labyrinth.
No,
and-
Merry Christmas, Sister Lawrence.
Yeah,
which is
those- yeah.
singly one of the best films he's ever done.
I think we could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Rice's Secret, which is another one. Anyway. Yeah.
So I'm going to throw that then. Right, I'm going to go the other way. So we've talked. We've had fantasy. We've had action. We've had monsters, superheroes. I don't think this to be a pure Christmas film, but I'd say it's an alternative one. But it's a very happy film. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's totally a Christmas film.
But it's not. I don't think it's a festive film. It's not like it's set at Christmas. But the point
You
of it
can't
isn't.
have that as an alternative
not-
Christmas film.
that's-
It's a total Christmas film. It's entirely
is it-
set at Christmas.
It's well, yeah. So is Die Hard set at Christmas, but it's not.
No.
The point of It's a Wonderful
you
Life.
can't have that
Why not?
because it's one of my favourite Christmas films of all time.
It's one of my favourite Christmas films. I watch
So
it every
how
year.
is an alternative Christmas film?
Do you not think it's an alternative Christmas film?
No, I think it's a,
Right,
I think
I'll
it's
tell you what, then.
legitimately. It's one for the next podcast.
All right,
that
let's
is
take it
a
off.
100% Christmas film.
Do you
No,
really
you can't use that as an alternative.
Serious? Okay.
That's like
I've
saying
never thought of it.
Home Alone is not a Christmas film. It so is a Christmas film.
All right, I think I can sort of. So, I'm beginning to see. Is there a thing here then? Because all right, I'm happy to take that off the table.
Take it off the table, you
It's going off the table.
bastard.
We will talk about that next week.
Yeah, totally.
Because the other one I was going to say then is Trading Places.
Dream Places is alright. That's fine.
That's an alternative.
Because it doesn't focus on a Christmas theme. It doesn't, whereas Wonderful Life kind of does.
Okay. So I've always thought whenever I've watched It's a Wonderful Life, and we'll save it this week, I've always focused on the start and the end is at Christmas, but the whole thing's about his life. So, but we'll talk about it next week next show because I think you're right. There's so much to talk about in it. It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, it's great
Because
fun.
I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, that film is just I'll watch that.
It's a Wonderful Life was my gateway to Jimmy Stewart. Rear Window.
The Rope, wasn't he in The Rope?
Yeah, Rope.
He was he in Vertigo?
Vertigo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
the
wasn't
list
in
could go on.
North by Northwest, was he? Because he was.
That's Cary Grant.
He fell out. He was supposed to be in it, but he
Yeah.
fell out. Anyway, long story.
So, but Trading Places.
Trading Places is good.
Eddie
yeah.
Murphy, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, totally. Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs.
Jamie Lee Curtis. That's her first boobs.
The only
answer-
boobs she's ever done, I think.
Is it the only boobs?
Yeah, I don't think she's ever done boobs after that.
Okay, well then, Fish Called Wanda.
Probably because they
maybe?
went. No, I don't think she didn't show boobs in that.
As I say, she did
But
this.
she had boob job, didn't she? She had a boob job for True Lies. And
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So she had a boob job.
That film,
And-
that Jamie Lee Curtis changed my life in True Lies.
Well, True Lies, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
That is a great film.
That is a very good film.
See, another podcast is the films of Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger, 20th century Schwarzenegger films. We've got to do. I love Schwarzenegger films. I think we'll do one of our Common Man commentaries. I think to one of those because some awesome films. But Trading Places is actually a great film of one of those things again where the plot barely matters because it's a comedy, but the whole plot's about a $1 bet.
Yeah, totally.
Two brothers just going, I don't know, I'll bet you if we did this and this, like we'll see, he'll sink, he'll swim, sort of thing.
And two great characters, Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, two really played so well against each other.
I went back and I watched this not long ago, and it was when I watched this. It was probably back in October. I watched this, and I was like, "Oh Christ, this is a Christmas film." It was when I sort of realised that I was watching it then. But I also realised, and I went back and I was watching a couple of other films with Dan Aykroyd in. In my head, Dan Aykroyd's a chubby person. And this is going to sound awful.
No,
I see Dan Aykroyd as a
totally.
chubby person for two reasons: his later films, and also the fact
Ghostbusters.
also the fact also that the Ray Stantz in the Ghostbusters cartoon was made to be a chubby person, right? Dan Aykroyd in the 80s
wasn't that chubby at all.
not at all. He was really slim and sort of quite slender and stuff, and I was just like, wow, actually, I think I've completely missed that. So I went back and watched the Blues Brothers, and he's like proper like beanpole in that compared to John Belushi. But Trading Places, a good film.
Yeah, great film.
I really enjoy that film.
Trading Places is
another underrated film, I think, or it's a forgotten film. I don't hear much about it these days.
No, and I think it's kind of hasn't stood the test of time, has it? Really,
It's a very 80s film.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. It's like
it's about Wall Street bankers.
Yeah, and what total bankers they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute bankers.
So yeah, I don't think it would play well today, but it's worth going back just to see the performances, including in the final role, like the finale, some incredibly racial stereotypes to do with that's a little bit that really would not play today. Seriously, you can find it on YouTube. Go back and watch it. It's one of the weirdest things where you're a bit like, oh, that would not work today. Like, blacking up and all that kind of stuff. It just, it wouldn't work. But okay. Any others? I mean, I had a look at a list for alternate Christmas films.
Yeah.
And the ones that suggested, there were some I just at hand I wouldn't even consider. But there were ones like
I Am Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. Documentary. Interesting choice.
Because it's about Santa Claus.
It is about Santa Claus.
It's not about Christmas.
No. It's about the character of Santa Claus.
Yeah. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't, but I have downloaded a copy of it, so I do.
Have you really?
Yeah,
you need to pass that on to me because I've got an American Blu-ray of it.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't got another version of it.
Yeah, I've got it on the sticks almost, so I can give you that.
That's cool.
But so this is the Mick Foley driven documentary about people that
he features in it.
Okay, was he not?
He's not all throughout it.
No,
but he's obviously he's the only name linked to it.
Yes, okay, because he's on the cover.
But Morgan Spurlock.
Oh, is it Spurlock?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's his film. But I don't think he's in it. But he's obviously, like most of the things he does he doesn't appear in. But it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and it tells a really good story and delves into sort of like homosexuality and why people do all this stuff, not homosexuality, why they do all this stuff.
The Santa stuff. Yeah. Because doesn't it follow like several guys who are Christmas Santas and what they do throughout the year?
Yeah, totally. One of them is Mick Foley.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's a big fan of Christmas.
Huge. When my Foley,
in both senses of the word, he's a big fan of Christmas.
Not anymore.
Really?
No, he's lost a hell of a lot of weight now.
Really?
Foley has, yeah. But when my Foley met Mick Foley, they he gave him a Christmas Where is Santa Claus or Who is Santa Claus book, which is a pretty in-depth about where Santa Claus comes from. To Mick Foley. Mick Foley said, I'm going to treasure this the rest of my life because it's just brilliant.
Because the guy's a legend. The guy's...
And the guy went on stage and did a Foley chant for my Foley. How cool is that?
Yeah. No, Mick Foley, what a guy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's a really good choice, actually, because we've been talking feature films, and I think a documentary is actually a really interesting choice. Other things... Okay, so there's one that I had this discussion with my wife about this film as to whether it's a Halloween film or is it a Christmas film, and that's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Great film, by the way, produced by Tim Burton. animation, I think, done.
Alternative Christmas film.
It is, isn't
I
it?
think it's an alternative Christmas film.
Yeah.
Because it is Halloween characters the night before Christmas.
Yeah. It's them trying, Jack Skellington tries to take over Christmas and realises that you're better off being yourself.
Yeah.
But it's not really about Christmas.
No.
So,
No, I think, I'd go with you on that.
Okay, good. Yeah. Alex was like, no, it's a Halloween film. Because it was because of the monsters and all that.
Oh, what does he know?
It's a great film, though.
Yeah, I agree.
The animation also done by, supported by Leica before they became Leica.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That and A Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride was
a true Tim Burton film.
It was an unnecessary Tim Burton film.
Do you not like it?
Corpse Bride.
I like Corpse Bride.
I think it was trying to be what the novelty of the animation that Tim Burton did was done on The Nightmare Before Christmas. The Corpse Bride is a good film, but it was in the shadow of A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh God, yeah. It's secondary to Night Before Christmas. I agree with that. It's better made from the quality of the animation, but I think the overall package is lesser than The Night Before Christmas. I would agree with that. And I could go off on a whole rant about these animated films. I love them. I actually watched a film recently, which I'm going to highly recommend to everyone. Again, completely unchristmas. It's called Book of Life. The Book of Life. It's a CG film, and it's about it's sort of set in.
Brad Pitt's in it, isn't he? Is that right?
No. This is it's an animated film. I don't know who the character, the voice actor. He might have done. He may have done. I didn't see the voice cast, but it's fantastic. It's on Netflix right now, UK Netflix right now. So give it a try. It's one of the best looking films. It's all set in that sort of like Mexican, Hispanic sort of like Day of the Dead mythology, and it is wonderful.
Cool, sounds good.
Okay, so we've got some good alternative Christmas films there. So we've discussed Gremlins, Die Hard, Batman Returns, Trading Places, Nightmare Before Christmas. What's it? The documentary called? I Am Santa. And I think we'll discuss It's a Wonderful Life next week.
Yeah, most definitely.
For fear of me getting punched in the face. But I think we've started Christmas well. I quite enjoyed this so far. I'm really looking forward to watching A Long Kiss Goodnight, because I haven't watched it in such a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing your reaction to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it, actually.
It's a good film, but I'd be interested to see what you think of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last words before we wrap up this show about Lethal Weapon or Last Boy Scout?
No, I recommend that people draw their own conclusions from it. I mean, if anyone hasn't seen Lethal Weapon by now, where the hell have you been? It is an iconic film.
Yeah.
And if anyone hasn't seen Last Boy Scout by now, don't bother. No, but go make your own opinion. Go and see Last Boy Scout. It's really hard to find on DVD, though. That's the thing.
They are.
Lethal Weapon, you can pick it up pound a penny anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Last Boy Scout is really hard to find. And again, maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe that's a supply and demand thing.
It could be.
Maybe
it
the
might
fact
be.
that it wasn't as popular and mainstream as Lethal Weapon doesn't mean it's any good or any less good.
No, I agree. It's a definite. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you want to comment on any of the films that we've talked about tonight, any of the films, please get in contact on Twitter at 20th Century Geek, on Facebook at 20th Century Geek. Or contact me through email, 20thcenturygeek@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram now, 20th Century Geek. So try and find me. And if you like the show, leave a 5-star review on iTunes. It's much appreciated. And if you want to send me any money or anything like that, contact me through social media. I'm happy to take it. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Mike.
Cheers.
Merry Christmas.